Chosen one, something is shifting in the unseen, and this Friday, heaven has marked your name. You didn't stumble across this message by chance. You were led here, drawn by a divine current, aligned by something far greater than coincidence. Because this Friday isn't just a day, it's a divine signal, a heavenly appointment, a moment carved out by God Himself for you to step into what has been hidden, preserved, and prepared. God's timing has never failed you. It's not bound by clocks or calendars. It doesn't panic, it doesn't rush, and it never makes mistakes. Every second is strategic. Every delay has been deliberate. And now, as this sacred Friday approaches, something extraordinary is aligning on your behalf. You may not see the full picture just yet, but can you feel it? That quiet trembling in your spirit, that holy echo that whispers, "Get ready." For years, you've walked through seasons that felt silent. You've endured long nights with no answers, days where nothing seemed to move. But what if that stillness wasn't punishment, but preparation? What if every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every heavy tear was laying the foundation for this very hour? This Friday is not ordinary. It's a portal, a divine checkpoint, the kind of moment where destiny pivots. And you, chosen one, are standing at the edge of it. Before we go deeper, I want you to pause right now and speak to the heavens with your faith. Type 777 in the comments to declare, "I'm ready, I'm aligned, I receive." This isn't just a number, it's a spiritual agreement, a bold echo to the throne of God saying, "I trust your timing, Lord. Even when I don't see it yet, I know you're moving." And to those of you who have supported this ministry through Super Thanks, let me speak from my heart. Thank you. Your kindness, your belief in this message, your generosity, it's what keeps this mission alive. Whether you've given or simply sat with these words and shared them, you are part of this calling. You're not just a viewer, you are a vessel, a light, a part of this divine ripple effect that is reaching souls across the world. So if you feel something stirring right now, don't scroll away. Don't let the noise of the world drown out what your spirit is sensing, because something sacred is about to be revealed. Something the enemy tried to delay is about to be released. And you are the one it's been waiting for. Let's begin this journey together. Watch closely, listen deeply, because what's coming next might just be the confirmation you've prayed for all your life. God's chosen ones, this Friday is God's timing for you. Listen before it happens. This Friday is not just a date on your calendar, it is a divine alignment, a moment that has been in motion long before you even knew to pray for it. For you, God's chosen one, this is more than a turning point. It is a launching point into something sacred, something eternal. What if everything that felt like delay was actually design? What if every detour you took was leading you to this very moment? God's timing has always carried purpose. Ecclesiastes 3:1 declares, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven." So, why now? Why this Friday? Because the room is finally ready. The stage is set. You are being ushered into the next chapter, and God has made sure that nothing and no one can contaminate it. There were doors that wouldn't open before, not because you lacked faith, but because the people inside weren't yet equipped to receive your anointing. Have you ever wondered why some relationships suddenly ended without explanation? Or why opportunities you once begged for were quietly removed? Could it be that those exits were not rejection, but redirection? Much like Joseph had to be removed from his brothers in order to rise in Egypt, you too were separated so you could be positioned. And even when it seemed like you were forgotten, Heaven was still counting down. Psalm 31:15 reminds us, "My times are in your hands." Every sigh, every cry, every unanswered question was recorded. Did you know that while you were praying in silence, the angels were already being dispatched? Think of the artist Vincent van Gogh. He only sold one painting during his lifetime, yet he kept creating. Why? Because something deep within him believed that purpose wasn't dependent on applause. You too have continued through seasons of silence, drawing, building, writing, obeying. Not because it made sense, but because you were led by purpose. What if this Friday is the day the world finally begins to see what God has seen in you all along? And it doesn't end there. Some resources were delayed not to discourage you, but to protect them from corruption. Like the Israelites who received manna daily, not all at once, your provision has been strategic. Would you have truly appreciated it if it came when pride was still present in your heart, or before you learned to discern who was worthy of access to your blessings? You're not the only one who has faced such divine delays. Pope John Paul II, one of the most influential spiritual leaders of the 20th century, spent decades in obscurity, studying, suffering, praying, before God elevated him to a position where he would influence the world. His hidden years were not wasted. They were sacred preparation. Could your quiet seasons have been the same? Even when you felt unready, unworthy, or unqualified, the countdown in heaven never paused. Have you noticed how lately your spirit has been more sensitive, your dreams more vivid, your discernment sharper? That's not random. That's the sign that your spirit is aligning with what God already prepared. And what about the battles? The ones you thought you fought alone? The depression, the loss, the betrayal. In the book of Daniel, when the angel finally appeared to Daniel after 21 days of delay, he said, "From the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard." Daniel 10:12. Could it be that your delay had nothing to do with denial and everything to do with warfare in the unseen? This Friday is not just a day, it is a divine portal. Are you ready for what's about to be unlocked? Are you willing to believe that your waiting was not in vain? Can you feel how close it is, how the air around you has shifted? Every moment until now has been leading to this. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are precisely where you are meant to be. Heaven's calendar has not missed a beat. And now the countdown is complete. There is a divine release approaching, and it's closer than you realize. A message, a moment, a move that will carry the unmistakable weight of heaven. You will not need to force it. You will not need to beg for it. It will come with the ease and certainty of God's perfect orchestration. And when it arrives, it will feel surreal, as if time has slowed and the world is suddenly bowing to the rhythm of your calling. Those around you might be confused. They may see your calm, your silence, your peace, and not understand it. They'll wonder why doors are opening for you when they seem shut for others, why resources, favor, and opportunity are drawn to you almost magnetically. But you will know, you will discern it as the divine response to every hidden sacrifice you've made. This is what happens when heaven says, "Now." Jesus once said in John 13:7, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." And now is that later, the season of uncertainty, of walking in shadows, of asking questions into silence. It is breaking open. Your spirit will recognize it before your eyes do. That sudden phone call, the invitation you didn't expect, the closed door swinging wide without you knocking, none of it will be coincidence. It will be prophetic. It will be confirmation that heaven has called your name and set the appointed time. Can you sense the shift in the atmosphere? The heaviness that once surrounded your mornings is lifting. The pressure that tried to crush your spirit is losing its grip. You've been tested in ways others couldn't have endured. You've stood through nights when hope seemed like a stranger, and still you did not fold. What does that say about who you really are? Consider Corrie ten Boom. a Dutch watchmaker turned Holocaust survivor who once said, "Never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God." She endured a season of unthinkable pain, and yet her testimony became a global beacon of hope. Just like her, you have survived what was meant to silence you. You've walked through fire and refused to come out smelling like smoke. And because of that resilience, this moment, this divine unveiling, is your inheritance. There is glory attached to your name. There is favor that's been circling your life, waiting for the divine command to land. But more than all that, there is alignment. Not just good timing, but God's timing. The kind of alignment that the Apostle Paul described in Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. What if the delay wasn't denial, but synchronization? This Friday holds that synchronization. It's not random, it's magnetic. What belongs to you will be drawn in. What no longer serves you will be repelled. And what has been asleep within you, your talents, your passion, your voice, will be reawakened by the Spirit of God. Have you noticed how your questions have grown deeper? How your spirit has longed for truth, not just answers? You haven't been lost, you've been led. And now the clarity you've craved is on its way, not in vague signs, but in undeniable waves. There will be symbols, synchronicities, signals, and they will not whisper, they will roar. This is your time. This is your release. Just as Elijah's servant saw a small cloud rising from the sea and knew a great rain was coming, you too will begin to see the smallest signs, and they will speak volumes. Are you ready to believe that the breakthrough you prayed for is already forming? The countdown is ending. The heavens are aligning. And this Friday, something is going to move in your favor that no man, no enemy, no delay can stop. Some will look at you soon and say, "You changed overnight." They'll marvel at how suddenly things seem to fall into place for you. But you'll know what they don't. This wasn't sudden. This wasn't luck. This was forged in fire. This was change born in the hidden places, through trials that broke others, through tears no one saw, through prayers whispered into pillows at 3 a.m., and through fierce obedience even when heaven was silent. You held on to a plan you couldn't always understand, a vision you couldn't fully explain, a voice you couldn't always hear, but still you believed. You didn't walk by sight, you walked by faith, one trembling step at a time. And now the time has come when that belief is about to collide with manifestation. What happens when the invisible becomes tangible? When the promise that once lived only in your heart finally appears in your hands. Proverbs 13:12 says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life." This Friday marks the blooming of that tree. The desire you carried so long is about to blossom into reality. You're about to walk into rooms you once only envisioned in dreams. Conversations you couldn't imagine being invited into, opportunities that once felt miles out of reach. You're stepping into territory that was once just spiritual territory, now made physical. Can you feel it building? God doesn't tease. He doesn't dangle promises like bait. Numbers 23:19 assures us, God is not a man that he should lie. Has he said, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it? If he said it's coming, then it's already on the way. If he said he's not done with you, then your best days are still ahead. This Friday is not just a calendar day, it is a divine catalyst. It will begin a chain reaction, unlocking a new spiritual and physical reality where everything starts to shift into its ordained place. Imagine walking into a season where your gifts begin to create space for you, where you no longer need to beg for a seat at the table, because God is building a new table around you. That's what Proverbs 18:16 promises. A man's gift makes room for him, and brings him before the great. Have you prepared yourself for the elevation that comes not from ambition, but from divine appointment? You won't have to chase what's yours. It will come find you, drawn by the magnetism of your obedience, your surrender, your alignment. This time, you're not just moving with hope. You're moving with heaven's full backing. Every step is accompanied by divine instruction and protection. Every connection will be strategic. Every provision will flow, not from struggle, but from favor. Steve Harvey, once homeless and living out of his car, held on to his dream of being a television host when no one believed in him. He said, "Your career is what you're paid for. Your calling is what you're made for." And when his moment came, it didn't crawl. It burst onto the scene. Just like him, you have been shaped in obscurity for a purpose that's about to be revealed in full view. And that restlessness you've been feeling lately, that tension in your spirit that you couldn't quite name, that wasn't anxiety, that wasn't fear, it was the spiritual frequency of anticipation. Your spirit already knows what your eyes have yet to see. That's why you feel the urgency. That's why the atmosphere around you feels charged. Heaven is already echoing your name. Angels are moving. The winds of change are swirling in your favor. What's coming isn't just a blessing. It's a blessing that redefines your life. A blessing that shifts your story, not just in private, but in public. It won't just sustain you. It will establish you. It will signal that the old chapter is over and the new one has been sealed by the hand of God himself. You are not waiting for an answer anymore. The answer has already been dispatched. It's not coming, it's arriving. Every single step you take right now is prophetic. Even the quietest move, the smallest decision, the most private shift in your thinking, none of it is random. You are walking on sacred ground. This week, the choices you make carry eternal weight. Not because you must be perfect, but because heaven is watching and aligning with your every act of obedience. Can you feel how the spiritual realm is leaning in? Walk now, not with hesitation, but with expectation. Let your words be wrapped in authority, not doubt. Let your thoughts be saturated with victory, not fear. Because when God marks a moment in time for you, it doesn't just come with blessing. It comes with elevation. It lifts you. It separates you. It sets you on a path that no man can interfere with and no enemy can block. Isaiah 60:22 says, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." And that right time is here. As this Friday approaches, something deep inside you will begin to shift. It won't need to be explained to others. You won't have to announce it. You'll simply know. Your spirit will testify before your circumstances do. Even if your surroundings appear unchanged, something within you will whisper, "This is it. This is what you were prepared for." And the beauty is, it won't be loud. It won't be wrapped in fanfare. God rarely moves in chaos. His movements are divine, deliberate, and unmistakably precise. Just like Elijah, who didn't hear God in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the still small voice. You too will sense that holy whisper this Friday, a moment that's soft yet thunderous in your soul. Will you be still enough to hear it? Look at C.S. Lewis, the famed author of the Chronicles of Narnia. Once an atheist, he didn't come to faith through dramatic signs, but through quiet conviction, through gentle encounters that led him to Christ. That same kind of inner awakening is beginning in you. Could it be that your recent restlessness is not a problem to fix, but a signal that your spirit is awakening to something new? Have you noticed how things that once fascinated you now feel flat? How conversations that used to stir you now feel empty? That's not boredom. That's growth. It's divine disinterest in distractions. When God prepares to launch you into purpose, He detoxes your soul from what no longer serves your destiny. Philippians 3:13-14 reminds us, Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal. You're being repositioned for something greater, and your soul knows it, even before your eyes can see it. Heaven is already in motion. Angels have already been dispatched. Blueprints have already been drawn in the Spirit. And all you're being asked to do now is trust and step. Trust that the weariness was part of the preparation. Trust that the shift is not just emotional, it's spiritual. And step into this week with the boldness of someone who knows they are being backed by the authority of heaven. This Friday isn't just coming, it's already calling to you. And something in you, something ancient, something eternal, has already begun to respond. There's a reason you've felt drawn into silence lately, a reason why noise irritates you, distractions feel heavier, and your spirit has leaned towards solitude. This isn't isolation, it's sacred preparation. You're not withdrawing, you're aligning, you're being pulled inward so your soul can prepare to receive what has always been yours, what heaven has spoken over your life from the beginning. It's no longer just a dream in your heart, it's approaching reality. This Friday isn't just a point in time, it's not just another date on the calendar. It is a divine announcement, a spiritual bell ringing through the atmosphere declaring, now is the time. And what's been forming in the spiritual realm is about to step boldly into your physical world. Can you feel the tremble beneath the surface? That gentle inner tension that isn't fear, but anticipation. Romans 8:19 says, "For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed." That's you. Heaven is not just preparing something for you, it's preparing you to be revealed. Chosen one, this has never been about luck. Favor is not random. You haven't been handed this moment, you've been prepared for it. You've been set apart not for struggle, but for glory. Yes, the struggle was real, but it was never the destination. It was the shaping ground. You've carried a weight others didn't notice. You've walked with wounds others couldn't see, but God saw it all. Every quiet battle, every sleepless night, every yes when it hurt, every moment when you chose integrity over instant reward, when you stayed loyal to the calling even when it meant losing comfort, losing people, or walking alone. Heaven was recording every single one of those decisions. Galatians 6:9 promises, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not." This Friday is that due season. This is not just the answer to your prayer, it's the fulfillment of your perseverance. It is heaven's reward for your private obedience, and when it arrives, it won't just show up. It will speak. It will speak to every part of you that once wondered, did I miss it? Was it worth it? The answer will resound louder than any doubt ever dared to whisper. And what comes with divine timing? Not just arrival, but acceleration. You're not just moving forward, you're leaping. What once took years will now take days. What was stagnant will be stirred. What was hidden will be highlighted. It's like when David was anointed king in the presence of his brothers. One moment he was a shepherd boy, unknown, overlooked. The next, he was called forward in front of everyone. What if this Friday is your Samuel moment? Malala Yousafzai, a Pakistani education activist and the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate, once walked through a valley of danger and trauma. But her persistence and purpose turned her wounds into a global mission. She said, "When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful." You've been silent too, but not powerless. That silence was your strength gathering. Your voice is about to be amplified by divine authority. You've been positioned, not punished. You've been refined, not rejected. This moment wasn't delayed, it was timed. And now, the heavenly alarm has been set to ring in your favor. Understand this, divine timing doesn't just come quietly, it confirms, it positions, it activates. And when it falls, it brings glory with it. You won't just take steps, you'll soar. You won't just move, you'll rise. You're not just stepping into a new level. You're stepping into the identity heaven always had written beside your name. Chosen one, prepare your heart, because what's coming isn't just the result of prayer. It's the reward of every secret act of faith. And the heavens are not whispering anymore. They are declaring it's time. And this rise, this elevation into what was always promised, is no longer optional. Heaven has already declared it. The command has gone forth. The scroll has been unsealed. It's happening whether or not you feel completely prepared. Isn't that often how God works? He doesn't wait for your comfort. He moves according to his calendar, not your conditions. His promises are not chained to your feelings. They are rooted in your calling. Right now, you might be glancing around at your life, wondering, how can something so divine fit into a situation so messy? But that's the beauty and the mystery of God's timing. He doesn't wait for order. He speaks order into chaos. Genesis 1:2 reminds us that the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. And God said, "Let there be light." Do you realize he's saying that same thing over your life now? Your calling has already outrun your confusion. While your mind may still be catching up, your spirit already knows. That's why this Friday's shift doesn't require you to understand every detail. It requires you to trust. Trust that what's unfolding isn't the product of effort or coincidence, but of divine intention. What you're about to step into wasn't built by human hands. It was authored in eternity and whispered into your destiny. You'll begin to see subtle signs, things aligning in ways that feel too precise to be random. People you haven't spoken to in years suddenly reaching out. Emails, texts, doors opening that look exactly like the dreams you tucked away. Provision emerging from places that were once dry. And somewhere deep within, a question will rise. Why now? But the answer will echo in your spirit with clarity and certainty, because now you are aligned. Now is the moment where your waiting has matured into wisdom. Now is when your obedience, tested in silence, has produced fruit. Like Joseph in Genesis 41, who spent years in prison only to be summoned suddenly to Pharaoh's palace, your preparation season has ended, and your revealing season has begun. Have you noticed how your desires have shifted? How your heart no longer clings to what once seemed so important? That's not loss, it's refinement. That's the Spirit cleaning your hands so you can carry something holy. That's God ensuring your character can sustain the blessing without it crushing you. Psalm 24, 3-4 declares, "Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? The one who has clean hands and a pure heart." You are now standing in that holy place, not because you climbed with perfection, but because you climbed with persistence. And because of that, what's coming is heavy, not with burden, but with glory. Think of Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years imprisoned before becoming the president of South Africa. He once said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." His rise didn't wait for perfect conditions. It came through years of isolation, preparation, and inner alignment. Just like him, you've been hidden, shaped, and now you're being revealed, not just to the world, but to yourself. So get ready, not for the familiar, but for the supernatural. Your moment has been appointed, your soul has been prepared, and your hands are now ready to hold what heaven is delivering. This is not just another week. This is sacred. This is timed. And most of all, this is yours. Chosen one, prepare to be elevated and do so without apology. The favor on your life was not earned by perfection, but by surrender. And this Friday, elevation won't knock gently or ask permission. It's arriving with purpose and authority. This moment has already been stamped by heaven. It will not wait for everyone to approve or understand. It will come boldly, and it will find you ready. Where others have labored for years, you will enter by grace. This is not about being better than anyone. It's about being willing to endure what others avoided, willing to grow in silence, to be misunderstood, to obey when there was no applause. You were willing to stay when leaving was easier, willing to be stretched when standing still felt safer, willing to carry an assignment that cost you comfort, relationships, and sometimes even your peace. And now, that willingness is turning into weight, the kind of weight heaven honors. Isaiah 1:19 says, "If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land." You didn't just dream of promise. You obeyed your way into it. And because of that, what once felt senseless is about to make perfect sense. You will look back on this week as a divine threshold, not just a shift in your schedule, but a shift in your story. It's the bridge between the version of life you tolerated and the version you were born to live. And while others may not immediately notice the change, you'll feel it in the atmosphere. Something in the air will hum differently. The frequency of your spirit will sharpen, and suddenly, heaven won't feel far. It'll feel near enough to touch. Can you already sense it? That stillness wrapped in power, that peace layered with purpose. You won't need to shout to receive what's yours. You won't need to perform. All that's required now is your presence, your stillness, your awareness, your expectation. Because chosen ones don't chase blessings, they attract them. Why? Because the blessing was wired to find those aligned with obedience. Deuteronomy 28:2 reminds you, all these blessings will come on you and overtake you if you obey the Lord your God. What was once a wall will now become a gate. What used to be resistance will now be favor. And what used to echo no will start sounding like divine yeses. You'll begin to receive clarity you didn't even know you were waiting for. Downloads, instructions, spiritual blueprints. They won't come from the world's systems. They'll come straight from the throne room. Expect divine strategy to visit your thoughts when you least expect it. In the shower, during worship, in a moment of silence. And you'll know it didn't come from you. It came from above. Think of the story of Nehemiah. God gave him not only the burden to rebuild, but also the blueprint and favor from the king to carry it out. Like Nehemiah, you're not just being given a vision, you're being handed provision to match it. Are you ready to carry something that carries others? And as this season begins, you'll stop doubting your next step. You'll no longer ask, "Is this right?" But instead, move with the confidence of someone led by the Spirit. Proverbs 4:18 says, "The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day." That is your path now, not only open, but glowing with guidance. Get used to living in rhythm with heaven. Get used to walking into rooms with supernatural insight. Get used to seeing doors respond to your presence, not because of who you are in the natural, but because of who walks with you. This isn't just a week of blessing, it's the dawn of your supernatural clarity. And from this point forward, you won't just see the road ahead, you'll know you were born to walk it. This Friday, timing won't just align, it will favor you. Suddenly, conversations will flow with ease. Places where your voice once felt silenced will now receive you with welcome. Delays that made you question your direction will dissolve, and walls that stood immovable for years will fall, quietly, completely. Why? Because this isn't ordinary time. This is Kairos, the appointed sacred time of God, when all things come together, not by human force, but by divine coordination. Can you feel the atmosphere shifting? That unexplainable sense that something is moving on your behalf? Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven." What if this is your season of unveiling? As you step into this appointed time, something in your soul will recognize it before your mind fully does. You'll sense a holy presence in ordinary moments. Divine fingerprints will begin to appear everywhere, on conversations, on decisions, on sudden moments of clarity. Could it be that heaven is no longer whispering, but orchestrating your next chapter out loud? Not everyone will understand what's happening to you. Some may think you're simply lucky, or that things changed for you overnight. But you'll know the truth. Let them believe it was sudden, because they didn't see the wilderness. They didn't hear the groans of your private prayers. They weren't there when you chose surrender over striving. Your current glow was forged in seasons of shadow. Your elevation shaped by the quiet courage to keep believing when no one was watching. Isaiah 45:3 says, "I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord." What if your obscurity was actually a divine vault, storing treasures for an exact time? This time, you've waited, you've wrestled, you've walked through uncertainty and chose faith anyway. And now, it's time for the promise to speak, not with noise, but with movement. Get ready for divine introductions. Your name will be spoken in rooms your feet haven't yet entered. You'll find yourself being supported not because you promoted yourself, but because others were stirred by the Spirit to uplift what God has anointed. Have you ever heard of Bethany Hamilton? After losing her arm in a shark attack at age 13, she returned to competitive surfing and inspired the world. She once said, "I don't need easy, I just need possible." Like you, her light came from faith, not fame. What if your testimony, like hers, is about to draw others toward God? And when people begin to show up, offering help, sowing into you, opening doors, don't shrink, don't doubt. You're not hustling anymore, you're harvesting. What is yours has become magnetic, drawn by your obedience, your alignment and your surrender. Deuteronomy 28:2 says, "All these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you if you obey the voice of the Lord your God." Isn't that what's already beginning? What if you're not chasing, but being chased by everything heaven has promised? And here's the question to hold close as Friday approaches. Are you ready to receive without apology? Can you stand in the place you once only prayed for and own it with quiet confidence, knowing that God's hand, not human effort, placed you there? This isn't just a moment of blessing, it's the beginning of supernatural clarity. No more confusion, no more hesitation. Your next steps will no longer be foggy, they will shine, illuminated by purpose. Proverbs 4:18 assures us, "The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day." What was once cloudy is now glowing. What once seemed delayed is suddenly arriving. And now that it's here, will you be present enough to receive it? Every setback is about to make sense. What you thought was loss, delay, or silence was actually a sacred redirection. God wasn't withholding from you. He was preparing what would be impossible to receive prematurely. And this Friday, it marks more than just another day. It signals the beginning of clarity, the unveiling of what has always been there, but hidden from plain sight. You've walked through seasons where you were invisible, where your efforts went unnoticed, your gifts underused, your heart misunderstood. But now, your calling, your anointing, and your favor are about to shine without needing a spotlight. Not because you forced it, but because heaven has declared, now. Isaiah 61 says, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." You're not just stepping into a good season, you're stepping into your identity. And identity, once revealed, is irreversible. You can't unsee what God shows you about who you are. You can't walk like a stranger once you've seen yourself as a son or daughter of the King. Stay sensitive, stay alert. Divine alignment often whispers before it shouts. God speaks through patterns, through divine nudges, through the very restlessness you may be trying to shake off. Have you noticed certain numbers appearing repeatedly? Are people echoing similar words to you lately? Is your spirit stirred without a visible reason? These aren't coincidences. They are signals. Could it be that heaven is speaking to you through repetition and intuition? Don't dismiss the internal knowing just because it lacks external validation. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Even if you can't articulate the next step, trust the compass within your spirit. It's not new. It's been forming in you through every quiet trial and every silent victory. There's a reason peace is following you, even in the midst of unanswered questions. It's not naivety, it's recognition. Deep inside, your soul knows what your mind is just now beginning to comprehend. Your home. Home isn't always a place. Sometimes it's a moment. Sometimes it's a season. And this Friday, your spirit will feel that grounding. You'll sense the sacred rhythm around you shift. Conversations will feel fuller. Time will feel slower. And everything will carry that unmistakable signature of divine timing. Have you ever seen someone step into a moment and immediately light up, like the entire universe responded to their arrival? That's what it looks like when someone walks in alignment. And now, that someone is you. Author and speaker Brené Brown once said, "You either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness." You're no longer hustling. You're no longer striving. You're stepping into a story that already knows your name. You'll feel it, not in fanfare, but in stillness. Not in thunder, but in knowing. That strange mix of reverence and recognition when your soul stands up before your circumstances catch up. When something inside you says, "It's time," even before your surroundings reflect the change. That is the moment you'll know. The wait is over. This Friday isn't coming to bless a version of you that pretended to be ready. It's arriving to activate the one who's been quietly preparing all along. There is a stillness that always precedes divine movement. A pause not of absence, but of sacred positioning. If you've been feeling like life is quiet right now, like something is suspended in the air, it's not because heaven is silent. It's because everything is being arranged perfectly. Chosen one, this is the divine hush before the powerful push. The tension you feel isn't confusion, it's anticipation. You're standing at the edge of breakthrough, and all of heaven is holding its breath with you. God is not running late. His hand is not delayed. His plan is not lost in translation. He is precise. Habakkuk 2:3 declares, "Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." The time you've spent in uncertainty, in shadows, in waiting rooms of the Spirit, it was never wasted. It was an incubator, a holy space where who you are was being refined for who you're about to become. What if that prolonged season of silence was actually the molding ground for your maturity? What if the very things you thought were setbacks were secretly pushing you deeper into strength? What if this stillness is the last quiet before heaven makes its announcement? And now, something is beginning to shift, not just around you, but in you. Don't be surprised if you feel a sudden surge of energy in your spirit, a renewal of passion, a surge of clarity, a jolt of expectation. This is not hype. This is the atmosphere bending in obedience to God's timing. Romans 8:11 reminds you, "The Spirit of Him who raised Jesus from the dead is living in you." So when resurrection energy rises, it's not a feeling, it's a signal. Can you feel it? That subtle holy fire starting to stir again. That inner confirmation that something long awaited is finally near. You're not imagining it. Something is being loosed. Resistance that once strangled your momentum is breaking. Invisible chains that contained your progress are snapping in the unseen realm. Your prayers haven't been bouncing back, they've been building pressure, and now the dam is bursting. This isn't just spiritual encouragement, it's spiritual truth. Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities." The resistance you've been feeling wasn't imagined, but it wasn't permanent either, because now the opposition is crumbling, the gate is swinging open, and all of it, every breakthrough, every conversation, every opportunity, every divine connection is being aligned with this Friday. But don't miss this part. It's not just about what you're going to receive, it's about who you're becoming. This isn't just about getting the blessing, it's about being the person who can carry the weight of it with grace and power. This is about becoming the version of yourself that the next season requires. That version is bold, not timid, clear, not confused, aligned, not scattered, anointed, not uncertain. What if the whole point wasn't to change your situation, but to transform your posture, to turn your prayers into presence, to make you not just a receiver of blessings, but a carrier of divine authority? Think of Maya Angelou, poet and prophet in her own right, who once said, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty." Like her, you didn't arrive here untouched. You've been changed, you've been tested, and now you're being revealed. This Friday isn't just a day on the calendar, it's a heavenly appointment. And it's not just bringing something to you, it's bringing you to the surface, the version of you that's ready to lead, to shine, to rise. This version of you, the one emerging right now, doesn't question your worth anymore. You've been through too much, waited too long, obeyed too deeply to still negotiate with fear. You no longer shrink to fit into rooms not built for your assignment. You no longer apologize for the favor that rests on your life like a crown. Because when God's timing falls upon someone, it doesn't just shift their circumstances, it upgrades their identity. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, believe differently. You carry yourself like someone who knows they are backed by heaven. Romans 8:31 asks, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" And you now live like someone who knows the answer. This shift isn't ego, it's evidence. Evidence that you've aligned your heart with heaven's design. God is about to move through both the sudden and the subtle. Some changes may come like lightning, swift, undeniable, public. Others will move like whispers, intimate, quiet, hidden to everyone but you. One moment, you may witness a door fly open. The next, you may simply feel a nudge in your spirit. Call them. Go now. Say yes. These nudges aren't random. They're the footsteps of God echoing in your intuition. Will you recognize the choreography of the Spirit when it doesn't come with music, only movement? Proverbs 20:24 tells us, "A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way?" You're not being asked to understand every detail. You're being invited to trust the director of your destiny. The dance has begun, and heaven has already taken the lead. This Friday won't require more effort from you. It will require deeper trust. The natural mind may tempt you to hustle harder, to prove yourself one last time. But this isn't a season to strive. It's a moment to surrender. Favor can't be earned. It can only be received. Think of Mother Teresa, who lived not with ambition, but with assignment. She once said, "I am a little pencil in the hand of a writing God who is sending a love letter to the world." What if you too are just being asked to show up and let heaven write through your life? Stay surrendered, not stressed. When anxiety knocks, answer with availability, not resistance. Let peace guide you, not panic. Don't confuse divine flow with passivity. Stillness doesn't mean stagnation. It means alignment. What's unfolding now is not something you need to chase. It's something you need to catch. It's not waiting for you to work for it. It's waiting for you to recognize it. Ephesians 2:10 reminds us, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." What's coming is part of that divine preparation, not a coincidence, not a stroke of luck, but the manifestation of your assignment. And when it comes, it will not feel foreign. It will feel like home. There will be moments, perhaps even this week, where your flesh will want to pause, to analyze, to question how something this good could happen now. Your logic may rise up, trying to fit divine movement into human timelines. But let it go. You were never called to calculate God's ways. You were called to follow them. Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." This is the walk of the chosen, one where obedience is more valuable than understanding. When the blessing comes, don't overthink it. Don't try to dissect the timing. Receive it, honor it, flow with it. He is doing exactly what he said he would. He is straightening your crooked paths, smoothing the places that once made you stumble. Proverbs 3:6 says, "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." Your acknowledgement was never about volume, it was about surrender. And now, because of your consistency and silence, your reward will be public in power. He is turning your mourning into joy. He's exchanging your drought for overflow, not because you performed your way into favor, but because you endured what others would have run from. You didn't quit in the dry places. You stayed planted. And now the rain is coming. Can you already feel the shift? Watch closely. Your intuition is about to sharpen in ways you've never known. The fog that once clouded your discernment will lift. You'll start picking up on subtle signals from heaven. Deeper insight, clearer direction, increased sensitivity. Have you noticed how some people are beginning to show their true nature lately, whether in loyalty or deception? That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. John 16:13 tells us, "But when he, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will guide you into all the truth." The Holy Spirit is fine-tuning your inner compass, and conversations that once left you confused will suddenly feel clear. Circumstances you used to wrestle with will now come into sharp focus. Those who were hiding behind masks, both friend and foe, will start to reveal themselves. Will you have the courage to accept the truth when it comes? Real clarity is not always comfortable, but it's always sacred. Much like Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German theologian who resisted evil in silence and solitude, you've been carrying truth quietly. He once wrote, "There is meaning in every journey that is unknown to the traveler." You may not have known exactly where this path would lead, but now the meaning is beginning to unfold. And it's all part of the timing. Not your timing, not their timing, but God's timing, the kind that makes everything beautiful in its season, the kind that doesn't just reward obedience, it reveals purpose. This week, that purpose is about to shine, and when it does, it will not need explanation, and it will simply be known by you, by heaven, and by everyone who said it would never happen. This Friday will usher in a wave of exposure, but not to shame you. No, chosen one, God is not in the business of humiliation. He is in the business of liberation. This exposure is coming to free you, to protect the purity of your calling, and to remove whatever cannot go with you into the next season. You're stepping into territory that demands clean hands and a clear spirit. And because of that, some things must be left behind. You'll begin to say no to what you once tolerated, relationships, routines, distractions that no longer reflect your worth. You'll say yes to what once scared you, your calling, your voice, your seat at the table. This isn't rebellion, it's revelation. You're not shifting by force, you're shifting by alignment. Galatians 5:25 says, "Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. That's what's happening now. Your spirit is leading. Your soul is no longer negotiating with fear. You're moving from reaction to revelation, from survival to spiritual sovereignty. Have you noticed how you no longer need to be convinced of who you are? That's the power of alignment. It doesn't just bring blessings into your life, it brings boldness into your choices. You begin to live from a place of conviction, not confusion. A deeper knowing rises up in you and whispers, "This is mine. I was born for this." And what's coming now? It won't be fleeting. It won't vanish like past opportunities. This time, it's not a test. It's a turning point. What's arriving in your life is meant to stay. God is delivering not just breakthroughs, but blueprints. Not just moments, but foundations. Sustainable favor, lasting peace, authentic relationships, clear, confident direction. James 1:17 says, "Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows." What God is giving you now is not a temporary high. It is a permanent placement. This is not a season of visiting victory. It is a season of building with it. And because of that, be prepared for divine invitations. You will be called into rooms you never applied for. You'll be handed microphones in places where you once sat silently. You'll be asked to contribute where you once felt invisible. Can you imagine walking into places that once ignored you, now honoring you? That's not luck. That's justice. God is not just restoring you. He is vindicating you. He is stepping into your story as the righteous judge, tipping the scales that were once unfairly balanced. Isaiah 61:7 promises, "Instead of your shame, you shall receive a double portion, and everlasting joy will be yours." The tables have turned, and you are no longer the one watching from the sidelines. You are no longer the overlooked. You are the one chosen to lead, the one entrusted to carry not just influence, but impact. And the world is about to feel the weight of what you carry. The time of hiding is over. The season of silence is closing, and heaven is announcing you, not to inflate your ego, but to reveal your assignment. This Friday, you will step into visibility, not just physical presence, but spiritual recognition. You will feel seen by the right people for the right reasons, and it won't be because you performed for attention. It will be because you persevered through silence. Your value won't come from applause, but from the anointing that cannot be hidden any longer. You stood when storms begged you to collapse. You kept walking when weariness whispered, "Quit." You chose faith over fear, clarity over chaos, obedience over comfort. And now the fruit of your endurance is about to find you. Favor has tracked your steps, and this Friday it will manifest. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." What if this is your due time? Can you feel the stirring in your spirit, the quiet, knowing that something is about to unfold? There is a specific blessing being released with your name on it, not generic, not leftover. It's custom crafted for your journey, protected from contamination, and hidden from sabotage until the hour of release. That's why it hasn't arrived sooner, because the conditions had to match the magnitude of what's being delivered. What if the delay wasn't denial but divine shielding? What if the silence was preservation? What if this blessing was too heavy to carry before now? You are now spiritually sharpened, emotionally grounded, and energetically aligned. You're not waiting for the blessing anymore. The blessing is waiting for you to receive it from a place of readiness. Be prepared for elevation, the kind that doesn't beg for permission, the kind that speaks without speaking, the kind where God steps in and turns what others overlooked into undeniable evidence of His favor. Psalm 75, 6-7 declares, "Promotion comes neither from the east nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is the judge. He puts down one and exalts another. This is that exaltation, not because you forced it, but because you were faithful. And this time, it's not just about what God can do, it's about what He promised. And heaven doesn't break its word. Numbers 23:19 says, God is not a man that He should lie. Has He said, and will He not do it? This is promise fulfillment, not wishful thinking. This is the result of covenant, not coincidence. You will not miss this moment. It won't pass you by. You won't be left behind. Everything that seemed to skip over you before was never meant for you. But this moment was written into your story before time began. And now the ink is about to dry. Get ready to be called forward. Get ready to be favored publicly for what you've carried privately. Get ready for a blessing that not only touches your life, but transforms it. This Friday is not just another moment in time. It is confirmation, a divine echo that God has been working all along, even when it seemed silent, even when it felt still, even when your prayers returned with no reply. He was moving behind the scenes, within the waiting, inside your wondering. And now the curtain is lifting to reveal what's been happening in the unseen. Every delay, it was divine. Every moment of silence, it was sacred. Every second, even the ones that felt wasted or forgotten, has been a thread in heaven's design. Can you look back now and see how even the detours led to destiny? Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, He has made everything beautiful in its time. And this, right now, is your time, your kairos, a holy moment where heaven's timing collides with earthly manifestation. You're not just stepping into a blessing, you're stepping into divine remembrance. You are being remembered, not by man, but by heaven itself. Just as God remembered Noah after the flood, as He remembered Hannah after years of barrenness, as He remembered the Israelites after centuries of bondage, He is remembering you. Every hidden act of faith, every quiet seed sown in obedience, every tear wept in solitude has been seen, heard, and recorded. And now, what was planted in private is being prepared for public display. Luke 8:17 reminds us, For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be brought out into the open. What you longed for behind closed doors, those rooms, those opportunities, those open doors, they're unlocking now without resistance. And this isn't just a breakthrough, this is fulfillment. The shift from waiting to witnessing, from hoping to holding. This is prophecy becoming reality. The exact thing you once heard God whisper, now standing in front of you in full form. Could it be that the wait wasn't punishment, but preparation? Could it be that God wasn't withholding, but building something tailor-made to your surrender? And now, all He's asking of you is to say yes. Say yes to what feels too big for your comfort, but perfect for your calling. Say yes to what scares you because it will stretch you. Say yes to doors that open not because of your resume, but because of your revelation. Isaiah 1:19 declares, If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. Willingness is the currency of this moment, not perfection, not credentials, just a heart that says, Here I am, Lord. I say yes. Because when heaven remembers you, nothing stays the same. There's something sacred about a Friday marked by God's hand. It's not just the conclusion of a work week, it's the divine beginning of a shift. When heaven stamps a moment in time, it transforms the ordinary into something eternal. This Friday carries that weight, not because of the day itself, but because of what's being awakened within you. You may have been walking through recent days just holding on, getting by, going through motions, carrying burdens in silence, smiling through fatigue, trying to believe for more while feeling stretched thin. But this Friday, something is going to flip. The spiritual tide is turning. The ground beneath you is becoming firm again. You will no longer be surviving. You'll be soaring. That weight you've been dragging, the regrets, the closed doors, the lingering fears, they're losing their grip. You're no longer being pulled backward. You're stepping boldly into a future that finally feels like it was made for you. Deuteronomy 1:6 says, "You have stayed long enough at this mountain." What if this Friday is your signal to leave the wilderness behind? To move not just physically, but spiritually, into a territory that was promised, prepared, and preserved just for you. Chosen one, your time of wandering is over. The season of uncertainty is closing. The cloud of confusion is lifting, not because every external circumstance is changing overnight, but because something within you is aligning with heaven's pace. Your heart, your spirit, your posture, they're lining up with God's perfect will. Have you ever felt that quiet click in your soul? That sudden internal shift that doesn't come with fireworks but with certainty? You're about to feel it again. That sacred inner peace. That calm that silences every question. That gentle but unshakable knowing that says, "This is it. This is what we've been waiting for." Philippians 4:7 speaks of this moment, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." It's not a peace that makes sense. It's one that makes you stand. You don't have to explain it to others. You'll just know. Like Ruth when she stepped into the field and found favor with Boaz, your steps will no longer feel random. They'll feel guided. What once felt delayed will suddenly feel divinely timed. This Friday isn't about escape. It's about encounter. It's not just the end of what was. It's the activation of what is next. Get ready, because something deep within you is about to confirm what heaven has already declared. You were born for this. Chosen one. If your spirit has been trembling with quiet agreement as you listen to this message, it's because heaven is confirming what you already knew deep down. This Friday is not just another day. It's divine. It's deliberate. It's destiny. You are no longer wandering in uncertainty. You are walking in alignment. Every delay, every disappointment, every door that once stayed shut, they were never signs of God forgetting you. They were part of the process. And now that the process is complete, the promise is arriving. Not rushed, not late, but right on time. You're about to be seen without striving, elevated without effort, remembered without reminder. And it's not because you've been perfect, it's because you've been faithful. The waiting room is turning into a delivery room. The prayers you whispered are becoming doors you walk through. The silence you endured is about to be filled with the sound of heaven's yes. Now, more than ever, guard your peace. Stay sensitive to the whispers. Move with expectation, not anxiety. Let your faith be louder than your fears. And remember, this is not the season to shrink back. This is the season to rise boldly into what was always yours. May you walk into this Friday with clarity, courage, and complete trust. May divine opportunities locate you. May your name be spoken in rooms you didn't even know existed. May your obedience draw supernatural provision. And may your soul rest in the truth that what God starts, He always finishes. If this message resonated in your heart, comment 777 below to declare your alignment with God's appointed timing. Let heaven see your faith. Let the community of chosen ones stand with you in unity and bold expectation. And if this word has blessed you, we humbly ask you to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone you love. Your voice can be the reason someone else finds their moment too. To every person who has supported this ministry through Super Thanks, we thank you from the bottom of our heart. Your generosity is not just seen by us, it is honored by God. And even if all you did today was show up and listen in silence, we are deeply grateful for you. You are part of this family, and your presence here is prophetic. As we close, I leave you with this promise from Habakkuk 2:3. Though the vision may linger, wait for it. It will surely come and will not delay. It's here. It's happening. It's holy. God bless you, chosen one. May this Friday shift everything in your favor, and may the rest of your life be the most divine chapter yet.